Well, when would you like to start the podcast?
Hi, guys. We're starting the podcast. It's Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show. It's your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, humor. Mr. Brent
Sometimes.
Atterbury, marketing guru, executive producer.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? I can hear you now.
Couldn't hear me in the last podcast.
No, I couldn't hear you in the last podcast.
Didn't have my
You
microphone
didn't have your
hooked up.
microphone on.
Yep.
You know, when you get old, things like that start to happen. You
Yep.
forget things. Speaking of that, for the last 10 years or so, I've been studying the whole idea of aging, right? And as I've gotten old, and it's interesting because the older I get, the more I see these things happening. And another interesting point I'd like to make is that most of our viewers are under the age of 40. There's maybe 5% of our viewers that are over 40. A couple percentage points maybe in the 50s range, but I don't think anybody in the 60s maybe. So I talk about aging and things like that. They may not be able to relate to that or want to hear it, but it's still, I find it interesting to talk about a lot of different topics. Sooner or later, you're going to be old if you live and long enough, and you know it's good to know these things and have some insight to these things. But the brain does shrink as you get old, and your memory does get kind of screwed up.
Does that mean you're not as smart?
Yeah, well, no, you're still smart. You just your ability.
There's less room up there.
There's less room up there. Your cognitive skills just kind of get screwed up, and like I've noticed recently, like I can't think of certain words. I've studied that. It's like, oh no, that's not a sign of dementia. It's just that. Goes with the aging and the brain and the shrinking and the this and the too much of stuff's in there and blah, blah, blah. Maybe they just want you to feel good when they tell you that instead of telling you really you're probably on your path to getting dementia. But that's what they say. It's common
Don't you
to not be able to recall certain words.
Don't you also become smaller? Don't you shrink
yeah,
height-wise?
Yeah, I'm about 3 inches shorter than I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I used to be like 5'9", 5'10". I'm like 5'7" now.
Can you go to a chiropractor and get on one of those stretching machines?
Theoretically, you could, but the other thing is surgeries, they have now where they can give you like 6 more inches of height. We talked about that on one of the podcasts. They literally cut your leg and put a bar in there, put a pole in there. It takes like a year to heal. If you're going to do that, why not just get some shoes that have like, bigger
big
heels?
giant wedges. Yeah.
It's interesting the length that people will go to accomplish their goals. In some respects, I admire that sort of mentality. But on the other side of the coin, it's like, I don't know if I want to spend a year, healing up from somebody cutting my legs and putting in 6 more inches of height.
Wow.
I can see the advantage of that. Tall people, by and large, generally are more accomplished. I've studied that too, and it's not always the case, but it's often the case. I think the percentage of successful men are people that are taller. Some of the examples of that would be, one of the examples would be the presidents. I think most presidents are 6 foot or above. Most of them. Not all of them, but most of them.
Well, then I'm out. I'm not accomplished.
You're funny.
I'm not successful.
No, that's not a guarantee either way, but I'm just talking out loud based on what I study and what I read and what I see with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Speaking of eyes, I went to the eye doctor. Did I tell you that story? And they dilated my eyes.
No.
Yeah, and so I'm so stubborn. You're not supposed to drive after you have that done.
Right.
But
Why?
But Mr. Stubborn over here, I'm driving back.
What happens?
I just got in my car, and everything is super bright because that's the way when your eyes are dilated. It's like, wow. You can't hardly see, basically. So I'm driving back to my office, and it was challenging. I've done that before, and it's it's probably not smart to do that. You should have a driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so much for all that. Let's see, said the blind man. Somebody, I told that today, and they said, "Well, that's so funny." I said, "Yeah," and as he picked up his tools and he walked away, and they went, "Oh, that's even funnier." I said, "I'm so funny, I should be on stage, and there's a stagecoach leaving in about 15 minutes." I tell that joke all the time, and nobody gets it. Oh, well. It's okay. So I got a story to tell. It's kind of fun. Well, it's not fun, but it's inspiring.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I'm at the gym today, and one of my friends is there. I actually have a few friends, believe it or not.
That's awesome.
I know.
At the gym.
Yeah, at the gym. Got to go to the gym, guys.
Yeah.
Very important. A guy walked up to me today, probably my age or older, and he goes, "Hey, man, I've seen you in here before. And I said, yes, sir. He goes, I said, I'm glad you're at the gym. And he goes, oh, man, I haven't been in the gym since I was in high school. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, I'm so glad you're here. But I said, listen, man, here's the deal. Pickle, dill pickle, get it?
Dill pickle, got it.
I said, it's not, at our age, it's not elective. You have to be here. Now, guys, if you're young and you don't want to work out, okay, I get it. You still need to. It's still smart. But when you're old, you have to work out. You've got zero shot if you don't. You're going to be messed up. You're going to be sick. You're not going to feel good. Everything's going to be screwed up. Even when you work out every day, you're going to have problems, but you're going to have the ability to handle problems a whole lot better if you work out every day.
What's the old saying? If you don't use it, you're going to lose it?
Yes. So this gentleman and I had this really nice little conversation, and I was happy to share with him my feelings about it. He was really excited. He goes, I notice you're in here with your tie on every day. And I said, yeah. I said, I don't even usually dress out. I just leave my office, go to the gym, get my workout in, and go back to my office.
These are my work and workout clothes.
Work and workout clothes. So even last night when I did jiu-jitsu in my dojo here in Missouri, I didn't put on my shorts or T-shirt. I just worked out with my tie on.
Do you go swimming in that too?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Anyway, my friend in the gym, Carrie, she was telling me this beautiful story today. It's really cool. Apparently let me think who it is. One of her relatives, I think it was her ex-husband's mother, ex-husband's father, let me think who it was. It was a family member who was very sick with liver failure, and make a long story short, Carrie, my friend, took her 10-year-old son to the hospital to see her. I think it was his aunt. Maybe it was his aunt. At any rate, she says, I'm so sick. I just don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to have to go through the liver transplant. I'm just gonna let myself expire. And the little boy started crying. And he said, no, I don't want to lose you. Make a long story short, that was such an inspiration for the lady that she said, okay, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go through with it. I'm going to Barnes Hospital in St. Louis, and I'm going to wait for the transplant, and I'm going to live. So it just goes to show you that, one experience can change your whole world. That little boy had no idea that he had that much influence over that old woman. But it changed everything in a moment. So I say that to say this. You don't know, guys, who you're going to influence. We always talk about you become who you surround yourself with. And to influence one person, to help one person, is as if to have helped the whole world. It's a powerful thing. And my friend Carrie was almost tearing up today when we were talking about it, and her son made the difference. 10-year-old boy made the difference in that woman's life. It influenced her to make that decision.
So, did this happen a long time ago?
No, it's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
Yeah,
so
right
you have
now.
to keep us posted on how things
how that turns out, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So I always talk about the 4 different stages of what's going on each day. I talk about either I'm at par, I'm in survival mode, or I'm in advanced mode. But I added another stage, and it's called emergency mode.
Freak out.
Freak out mode. Speaking of freak off. So you've been studying this P. Diddy criminal case in New York. It's wild, man.
Yeah, I have.
Man, here's a guy that's like a gazillionaire, like a billionaire, almost a billionaire. And he's been in jail since September. He's in there they're trying to charge him with racketeering, sex trafficking, and I don't know. That's enough, right?
Right.
Criminal enterprise, blah, blah, blah. Wow. And so he had these, what do you call them? He called them freak-offs, where they would bring in paid prostitutes and his girlfriend, and they would do all kinds of freaky stuff, right? That's crazy to have that much money and that much success and to throw it all away to do stupid things that cause you to become criminally indicted. It's just crazy to me.
Yes.
But that's just kind of the way it goes, man. People do things that don't make sense all day long. Did you hear about the 10 guys that escaped the jail, and it turned out one of the the guards helped them to get out.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, this is like I think Louisiana or somewhere. They went behind a toilet and broke through the wall somehow. And so then I read an article that they said that the guy says, well, they threatened me, so I had to help. I don't know what the truth really is about it, but
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Was he paid to do it, and then he's lying? Did they threaten him and he felt intimidated? I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's a big escape from a jail. Usually it's one guy, two guys, maybe. Speaking of jails, I saw where Trump's going to rebuild Alcatraz. So I thought that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. He's doing a lot of stuff all the time, that guy.
I don't know.
You know, you got love or hate him. That guy is like the epitome of a guy that's goal-oriented and has a list a mile long of things he wants to accomplish every single day. Now, you don't have to like him. You don't have to agree with him, but I do admire the fact that he is so determined to accomplish whatever it is that he's interested in accomplishing. And he'll go to the end of the earth to make it happen. Literally.
Yeah.
Like he just traveled to the Middle East and did this and that and this and that, and he's something else, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Bad habits.
Bad habits.
Did we talk about that the other day? Did you tell me to talk about that?
I didn't, but that's a good idea.
I thought you were the one that convinced me to talk about bad habits today.
Okay.
Isn't there a song
Maybe.
called Bad Habits? I think there's a song.
There's a group called Bad Company.
Speaking of musical groups, one of my students told me last night that he was in Columbia, Missouri, at a house, probably 100 and some people there, and the I think it's called the Great American Rejects played at this house. This is like a big, well-known band, been around for a lot of years. They were like touring with the Jonas Brothers, which is another big, successful musical organization, and they stopped off in this little town and set up their music in a guy's house. Now, that's crazy to think that, because they're playing stadiums.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you walk into this guy's house and here's this, famous band playing all their songs. Literally, you're like from here to the couch watching them, or from the couch to the whatever stage they set up. I don't think they set up a stage. They just like played on the floor, the kitchen floor or something. I think that's super cool, though, that a group would have, that their ego would be in check, that they would be willing to do stuff like that. And from what I studied and heard about, these several groups will do that from time to time. Like they'll be touring, and in between their dates, they'll like stop off in a small little town and set up and just play for whoever shows up.
Yeah.
Because they love the intimacy, right, of the smaller crowd.
Yeah.
If I were a musician, I would do that.
Speaking of musicians
Yes.
and rock stars,
Yes.
I was talking to someone yesterday and found out that, and I don't listen to this music, but Rob Zombie.
Yes. Well-known actor and a musician.
Yes.
And producer.
Yes. His guitar player just got off. They just came off tour, getting ready to go back on. He lives in Branson.
Wow.
And he has a tattoo shop down there.
He has a tattoo
He doesn't
shop
do
there.
tattoos, but he owns one.
He owns one.
And they say when you walk in there, he's got gold records on the wall and
wow.
stuff. And it's just little bitty things you don't even know.
Isn't that great?
But that tells me he doesn't have to live in a big fancy place or in Los Angeles.
No.
Or he does what he wants to do.
And he doesn't. I was talking
It keeps it low key.
talking to somebody today about that same subject. It's like, look, man, you can, all these physical things really mean nothing in the end. What really, 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 really matters is how we influence others and how we take care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, our physical, mental health. One of my students and I had a great conversation yesterday. He's in his 20s. He's lost a lot of weight. He's working out in the gym every day. He's a leader in our gym, and I've talked to him a lot over the years, but yesterday we had this very intimate discussion, and I said, look, man, you have to understand that people are watching you, and they're paying attention to you and your habits and what you say, how you conduct yourself. So it's the same thing, guys, out there for whoever you are. Remember that everybody's following your example. If you're doing bad things, there's a lot of people that are going to be doing bad things too that you associate with. And then by the other side of the coin, you have to get away from bad people to get your life cleaned up to get on track, to be able to be successful and follow your lead, reach your goals, set your goals, reach your goals, work towards your goals. People make success way too difficult. But at any rate, back to bad habits. Actually, I think we're probably going to have to do that another day because we've got more stuff to talk about, and you've got some breaking news, I bet.
I do.
Let me hear it.
Do you know how to tell if someone's lying?
They open their mouth.
So everybody that talks,
well, it's an epidemic
lies.
for sure, man. That's not good. Go ahead.
Oh, well, according to a trial lawyer, Jefferson Fisher, he revealed that the type of word liars often use is a dead giveaway, and it is absolutes, like never or always. He said when they say that, he goes, there's no way it's always or never. He said, for example, when he asked someone, were you driving and texting in the accident? They said, and when they say, I never have texted when I've been driving. He said, well, that's not true. He said, we've all been guilty.
It's a giveaway.
Yeah.
So never's a key word.
Absolutes is really never, always. He said when they answer with that, it's usually not true. And he said,
I never do things like that.
Never.
I'm sorry, guys.
He said also liars often respond to questions really quick.
Okay.
Which means they didn't actually contemplate the question they were asked. He said usually when you ask the question again and repeat it really slow, more times than none they'll retract that and say, well, what I really meant was I wasn't texting during that accident, but I have texted before.
Okay, I get
so
it.
He said that's how you can tell. You got to just repeat that question again. But
interesting.
But I thought that was interesting.
That's very interesting
because that goes back to.
You're very insightful today.
Yeah, I was trying to find something funny, and I didn't really find anything
really funny. Always have to be funny. I mean, people, anything we can give the public to help them to get through their day is good.
I mean, this is important because when you're hanging around people that are lying all the time,
yes,
get out.
Bye. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Oh, well, then. And today, you're not going to believe this. I got to find National Talk Like Yoda Day.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I can do maybe Chewbacca, but I can't do Yoda from Star Wars. Can you do Yoda?
No.
Yeah. I can't do Yoda either. But there's a lot of people out there today talking like Yoda.
Talking like Yoda.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you. Somebody walked up to me on May the 4th and said that to me. May the 4th be with you. I'll never forget that.
It's, let's see, it's also International Tea Day.
Oh, wow.
And National Eat More Fruits and Vegetables Day.
Tea like drinking tea or tea like
tea.
like playing
no,
off,
drinking,
like teeing off?
Drinking tea.
Okay, drinking.
Yeah.
Tea's good, but I'm a coffee guy mostly.
Fruits and veggies.
Yeah. We got to eat fruits and veggies, and we got to have coffee in the morning, though. We got to have a little caffeine in the morning. It's our high in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just pretty high.
Yeah.
And then sometimes at night I like to drink coffee when I'm working out and doing jiu-jitsu. Because sometimes at night I'm a little low on energy, and I have my coach always brings me a cup of coffee, and about halfway through that I'm ready to go.
There you go.
Yeah. And we get going pretty good. I had some fun last night. I was learning some new techniques, and I actually surprised myself that I could actually do one of these new techniques. It was kind of cool. That's the fun thing about setting goals, guys. You when you reach them, man, there's no feeling in the world like that. Accomplishment.
And a bad habit is to tell people you're going to talk about something, and you tease them and not going to talk about it until next week.
That's it. I'm sorry. My bad.
Just kidding.
My bad. Get it? Bad.
That's
bad
not
habits.
a bad
My
habit.
Bad.
That's
Get
a
it?
tease.
My bad. Bad habits.
You're bad.
It's a key. It's play on words.
It's a tease.
It's
That's
a
what
tease.
it is. It's a big tease.
Speaking of teases, I've known a few girls like that
Yeah.
over the course of my interesting career.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of more thoughts and we'll get out of here. Let's see. I think it's important. I was telling my friend at the gym today that you're talking about death, and I said, look, you have to accept the inevitable that at some point we are going to die. But you know what? If you're religious and you believe in God, that's a good thing, because now we're going to transition to something even better than what we have on this earth. So the key is to enjoy your life all the way to the end. And how do you do that? Being mentally and physically healthy and fit. That way everything is just better. And when you have trouble, you can work through it better and easier and faster. And that's just the way it is, guys. You don't have to remake the rules. Just follow the rules. We talk about them all the time. Eat right, sleep right, be around good people, work out, be a goal setter. Accomplishment is the drug, man. That's the best drug. And even if you don't reach the goal right away, as long as you're on the track every day and you're working towards it, that's still an accomplishment, man. It makes you feel good about yourself. You lay your head down at night, you say, man, it was rough, but I did it. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I didn't give up. It's a powerful thing.
You didn't give up.
I didn't give up. Accept the inevitable and learn to manage what's coming your way. Don't be afraid. You know what? It's a lot better to hit things head on than it is to hide your head in the sand and not accept reality. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But you have to work towards that, in my opinion, to really enjoy your life without being afraid all the time and nervous all the time and anxious all the time.
It's probably hard to breathe when your head's in the sand anyway.
At any rate, I'll shut up now, I guess. Any last final thoughts before we get out of here?
No.
You've been so insightful today.
Stay tuned next week and learn more about bad habits.
That's it, man. Well, guys, just remember, if you don't give up, eventually the stars are going to line up. And when that happens, powerful thing, man. You're going to feel good about yourself. People around you are going to sense it. They're going to follow that lead. They're going to benefit. Everybody wins. I talk about that all the time in my business. It's like, I want to do things where everybody wins. Mm-hmm. The customer, the friend, the owner, the people around, that everybody wins. That's really what life should be all about. And that should be what we should work towards every day. So up until that time, and even after that time, just remember to always keep your head up and stay positive.